Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited Q3 FY21 earnings conference call hosted by Axis Capital. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Vaibhav Saboo. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tanvi, and good evening, everyone. On behalf of Axis Capital, we are pleased to host the management of Kirloskar Oil Engines for the Q3 FY21 results. From the management, we have Mr. Sanjeev Nimkar, the Managing Director, and Mr. Pawan Agrawal, the Chief Financial Officer. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Vaibhav. Thank you, everybody, for joining the Q3 FY 2021 earnings call of Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited today. I am Pawan Agrawal, the Chief Financial Officer of the company. Present with me on this call are our Managing Director, Mr. Sanjeev Nimkar, and our Company Secretary, Mrs. Smita Raichurkar. First of all, we wish you and your dear ones great and safe 2021. We hope and wish everyone and their family members and colleagues are safe during this pandemic. We wish to start by qualifying that during the call, we may make some forward-looking statements. These statements are considering the business environment as we see today, and therefore there could be risks and uncertainties that could cause actual results to vary materially from what we are discussing on the call today, and we would not always be able to update on these forward-looking statements. Safety of our employees and fulfilling our promises to our customer continue to remain our top priority in Q3. The business continued to stage an encouraging recovery and has almost scaled up to last year's pre-COVID levels. On a sequential basis, we have seen business normalcy getting restored in Q3. We have started Q4 also on a positive note. As of now, we are witnessing healthy growth across our business segments. We are pleased to report that Q3 FY 2021 has been one of the best quarters of the company, driven by strong operating and financial performance. KOEL has done well in Q3, both on a sequential as well as year-on-year basis in terms of top line and bottom line. Despite COVID, we have maintained business momentum gained over the last quarter and look forward to sustaining this performance as we go along. Now I will briefly touch upon the financial performance of the company. On a standalone basis, the total revenue from operations for the third quarter stood close to 798 crore against 721 crore in Q3 of the previous financial year. Total income of 804 crore for the quarter was about 10.5% higher compared to 728 crore for the same period in previous financial year. Except power generation and large engine business divisions, most of our other businesses have delivered growth in Q3 on year-on-year basis. We had informed you in our earlier earning calls that KOEL had embarked upon a cost optimization exercise, which was made effective from Q1 FY 2021 itself, much before the impact of pandemic was fully understood. We were able to implement quite a few measures in Q1 itself. The impact of those is flowing through into Q2, Q3, and also will flow in Q4 as well to some extent. However, as we scale back to normal levels, some of these costs will get course corrected in line with the normal scale of business operations. Maintaining costs at this level is very difficult in the next financial year because 2020 was a radically different year. It was not a normal year, so whatever cost saving we could make on the other expenses and employee cost may not be possible in the next financial year. Having said that, we will continue to focus on maintaining and improving margins, prudent management of operating costs, and working capital in order to improve the financial performance going forward. EBITDA, which is excluding other income, for Q3 stood at nearly 94 crore compared to comparable rupees 56 crore in Q3 of last year, an impressive 68% growth year-on-year basis. The company delivered PAT of approximately 61 crore rupees in Q3 versus nearly 43 crore rupees during the same period in previous financial year. Operating cash flows continue to remain robust in Q3, which further strengthened the company's fiscal health during the quarter. Rupees 177 crore was generated from operations in the third quarter of the current year vis-a-vis 70 crore in the same period last financial year. This is net of advance tax. Looking at the uncertainty in the economic environment caused by spread of pandemic and as a measure of abundant caution to augment liquidity, during quarter 3 we once again raised rupees 100 crore through issuance of commercial papers. These CPs have been redeemed in full on 2nd February 2021. Operating cash flow grew significantly given our consistent focus on liquidity, cash management and strong collections in the current year. Our cash generation from operations was at 375 crore during the 9-month period ended December 2020 compared to just 86 crore in the same period last year, net of tax again. During the third quarter, the company has invested rupees 45.39 crore towards share capital in its 100% subsidiary Arka Fincap Limited by subscribing to the rights issue. As on 31st December 2020, the total investments made by KOEL in its subsidiary Arka Fincap stands at nearly 572 crore rupees. At a consolidated level, the revenue from operations was 959 crore in quarter 3 of FY 2021 compared to approximately 835 crore in quarter 3 of FY 2020, registering a growth of nearly 15%. Total income for the quarter improved from 843 crore in the previous year to 966 crore in the third quarter of the current financial year. Profit before tax for the quarter at consolidated level was a little over 91 crore as against 51 crore in the same period previous financial year. At a group level, profit after tax for the quarter was 66.5 crore compared to 46.4 crore in quarter 3 of the previous financial year. At the segment level during quarter 3, the engine segment grew by 5.5%, electric pump segment grew nearly 40%, and other segment, which typically includes farm mechanization and tractor spare parts and oil businesses, grew by 88% on year-on-year basis. As far as outlook is concerned, we are focusing on exiting FY21 on a modest note. As you would have noticed across many industries, the commodity prices including casting steel, copper, aluminium, etc. and ocean freight are on the rise. And therefore, the company has taken a decision to hike prices in quarter 4 of FY 2021 to offset the impact of input cost increase to some extent. However, it is difficult to pass on the entire input cost increase onto the customers. Therefore, we anticipate some impact on the margin in quarter 4. That was all on the financial side. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, 2021 brings a new ray of hope for people, economies and businesses. We are hopeful of a much stronger FY 2022 as we get closer to exiting the current financial year. We see a good demand environment across all key business segments. We believe we are well poised for the better future. We have the financial resources in terms of a strong balance sheet and a healthy cash position, a great set of products, and a motivated and experienced team to capitalize on this opportunity. With this summary, we may now commence question and answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to withdraw yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. The first question is from the line of Parikshit Kandpal from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Yes, so my question was if you can give some outlook on the demand, so which are the key segments which is driving the demands for the power gen business and other segments, and also if you can touch upon the impact of CEV, BS4 and CPCB. So regards to that, when do you expect to take the price hikes, and if any pre-buying you've already started seeing?
Okay. Good afternoon to all of you. This is Sanjeev Ninkar here. Thanks for this question. The demand, as Pawan was explaining to all of you, that last quarter was one of the best quarters for us, and the same momentum continues for even this quarter. So, specific to your question, the power generation demand is primarily flowing, and this time it's a mix of infra projects which government is putting inputs in that, and as well as last 3-4 years we had seen a major slowdown on the capital formation related private sector projects. But last 4 or 5 months, we are seeing that the confidence level of private sector has gone up in Indian economy and their future of coming 3-4 years, whatever. And those projects are coming back on track. So those are putting the demand. So the industrial consumption for the power generation had started coming in, which was relatively slower earlier. Then the infrastructure related things are moving, airports and the ports and a lot of things into the process industries are moving. Agriculture processing industries are moving very well. Consumer space industries are moving very well. So all these sectors are adding to power generation demand. So that's the question to answer to your first question. Second point you asked about the BS4 and CPCB4, what is the outlook and what is happening. In our last call on the investor call last quarter, we had indicated that BS4, our entire program is running absolutely as per plan. And that time I had shared that we had crossed around 10,000 hours of trials of BS4 engines before even we launched the product in the market. And that number right now stands around 18,000 hours now. So we have reached to 18,000 hours of pre-introduction trials. So we are pretty confident about what kind of solutions we have provided to our customers. And just for the sake of repetition, one of the important value add what KOEL has given to their OEMs is almost zero change of the envelope of the machine. That means in spite of we giving the very high technology BS4 solution, the envelopes change at OEM side is close to nil. So that's the biggest contribution we have done, and that's where most of the OEMs were able to retain in BS4. So that transition is running well. Not only that, starting December onwards, so December to mid of March, we have reasonable amount of pre-buy demand of BS3 engines, which the OEMs are expected to convert into their machines, and they will sell these machines for next 6 months or 3 to 6 months time frame. So that's a good story there. Coming to CPCB4, as most of you are aware that the gadget is not yet out. So we are prepared for that. We are preparing for it. But the gadget is not out, so the final date of implementation is unclear right now. But as I said in the last call also, that BS4 working, almost 70% of that is going to be very handy for us for CPCB4 transition, because similar technology is implemented for even CPCB4 also. So that way we are geared up to handle this transition also whenever it happens. That's it from my side. Yeah.
So any sense on the price hike which you are going to take for both BS4 and CPCB4? So anything has been finalized as of now in terms of what could be the price hikes the industry need to take to upgrade the technology to this level?
There are two things into this. One is the BS4 price hike from the technology perspective. So that has already gone. Those negotiations and discussions happened almost 8-9 months back, because when we were finalizing with OEM by OEM, we finalized that, and roughly you can say 15 to 20% price rises are closed on that front, which had a technology impact. The second aspect is the recent phenomenon of commodity price rise impact of last 2-3 months. So that is being under discussion. So when Pawan referred to price rise, it was primarily on the commodity link and not the technology link. So the commodity link price rise is under discussion. So most of the OEMs, our discussions are either closed or in the last stage of closure. And this month end or next month, it will start reflecting in our primary sales, both power generation side as well as on the BS4, the industrial engine side.
Okay, thank you. I have a few more questions. I'll join the queue. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sandeep Tulsian from JM Financial. Please go ahead.
Yeah, very good evening, sir. My first question is on the power gen segment. You had indicated that activity level is back to 90% of pre-COVID, as we can see in your results. and you were expecting that there will be a slight growth that you're expecting in fourth quarter. Where are we on that track? And if you could also highlight what is the current market share that we have at the end of 3Q versus the earlier quarter, and what is the quantum of price hike that we have taken in this segment on an average, weighted average basis?
So good evening, Sandeep, and nice to hear your voice on this call. You asked primarily 3-4 questions. I will answer one by one. So coming to the power generation side of the story, the price rise, what was the first question? So the market, okay, I will answer the market share question first. We do have Q2 published figures with us, and Q3 figures are expected another 10 days time, so not yet come. Till Q2, we are at 34% quantity market share and 23 point something on the value market share. So we are sustaining and maintaining our market share, so no worries on that. Minor changes plus minus on the individual node by node, but holistically we are at 34%, and in HHP we have gained 2% market share. So that's on the market share front. On the price rise front, around 4 to 5% price rise, which is going ahead in the market. We have already discussed, and we have agreed with the different GOEMs, but we have not heard much from our competition yet. One or two second or third level competitors have indication of 3-4%, but the main competitors have not yet indicated anything to the market. So that's a little bit worry, but we felt it's worthwhile to go ahead with the price rise to the market. So any other thing I missed out?
No, it's helpful. And secondly, sir, on this electric pumps, we saw 40% growth in the quarter on a consolidated basis. So you did highlight that in the presentation that you've grown in double digits in larger machinery. If you could split this growth between LGM and Kirloskar Oil, what are the numbers that we have done?
Yeah, Sandeep, this is Pawan Agrawal.
Yes.
So electric pump oil Q3 this year we have done 37 crore roughly, as opposed to 21 crore last year. Mm-hmm. LGM we have done 129 crore as opposed to 103 crore last year. Overall combined 40%, roughly 40% growth.
Understood. And so lastly, if you could also help us, the growth rates within industrial, how have we done within off-highway and tractors and the balance part, the construction fluid handling and all of that, just to get a sense of which segment is the one which is driving the sales, and how much percentage of portfolio will be impacted by this BS4 change for the industrial segment as a whole.
Okay, so let me address the first part, and second part probably Sanjay can answer. So within industrial segment, construction equipment in Q3 grew by 58% for us year on year. Earth moving grew by 32% year on year. Fluid handling about 87%. Material handling, which is a very small business portion of the business, 41%. And exports within industrial business grew by about 14%.
And so this tractor is included in earth moving here, or where?
Yeah. Tractor, I'll give you the tractor growth also.
No, tractor is not part of earth moving. Tractor is separate.
Tractor in Q3 year on year grew by 142%.
Wow.
And on a 9-month basis, tractor growth is 30% year on year.
Okay. Understood. Yeah. And the second part for that question, sir?
Can you repeat your second part, please?
What percentage of this portfolio will be impacted by this BS4?
35%. 35% of the portfolio is impacted by BS4.
Okay. Got it, sir. Thank you so much for answering the questions. I'll come back in the queue with other ones.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nilesh Jethani from Envision Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Can you speak louder, please? Sorry.
Hello. Am I audible now?
Yeah, it's better now. Thank you.
Yes. So my first question was on the expense side. So we have seen a sharp reduction in the other expenses on YOY basis for the last 2 to 3 quarters now. So just wanted to understand which are these line items we were able to capture or reduce our cost in the other expenses, and by what proportion do we expect these to normalize again, say starting FY22?
Okay, thanks. So basically, other expenses will have 3 broad categories, which will have manufacturing, selling, and admin. So on a 9-month basis, manufacturing is down by about 13.6% year on year. Selling expenses are down by 14% year on year, and admin expenses are down by 32% year on year. Okay. Overall, for 9 months period, you can see about 19% reduction in expenses. Now, as I mentioned in my opening remark, as the business is slowly or is getting back to the normalcy, and with the opening up of economy and people started traveling, sales, advertisement expenses, etc., kicking in, now slowly we are going back to the normal levels. We do not expect the old level of costs, which is FY20 cost, calendar year FY20 cost, to continue in the next financial year. So it will be back to the pre-COVID levels. We do not see major change in the cost, maybe few crore rupees here and there.
Okay, understood. And sir, we also talking about we have taken price hike. But yes, there would be some impact on the gross margins. Typically, we are not passing on the entire impact to the customers. So what impact can we expect on the gross margin due to the rise in the commodity prices and be unable to pass the same to customers?
Sure. We are still evaluating, as Sanjeev indicated, we are in various stages of dialogues with our customers, and also we are engaging with our suppliers. But at a very high level, we are expecting about 1% to 1.5%, somewhere in between, impact in Q4.
Okay. Understood. Yes, sir, those were my questions. If I have any more, I'll join back in the queue.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, we request you to limit your questions to 2 per participant. The next question is from the line of Pankaj Rawal from A. Lansdowne. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. First of all, congrats on the good set of numbers. So I have
there is background noise over there. We can't hear you clearly.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So first of all, congrats on the good set of numbers. So my question is, so we can see that good growth in the electric pump in Q3. So how much is the growth we are expecting in future, maybe sustainable growth, you can give guidance on that?
Electric.
Yeah,
electric pump.
This question is coming in almost all calls, last 2-3 conference calls. And we have been constantly telling that we are very strategic in our actions on the electric pump side, because we have implemented verticalizations of different small businesses within electric pumps, and that is contributing to our results. So if coming straight to your question, at least next 2 to 3 years, we are confident that this growth story, whatever, in double-digit growth story should continue on the pump side.
So any ballpark on strong double-digit, maybe this YOY we can say 40%.
We will be gaining market share in pump side for sure.
Okay. My next question is, what is the current market share in the KVA? Pardon my ignorance if I'm repeating myself, but...
Can you repeat your...
What is KVA?
KVA.
LHP, MHP, SHP.
So LHP, MHP and HHP, these are broad level we categorize. So in LHP side, which we talk up to 30 kVA, our market share is around 39 to 40%. Then next we put 30 kVA to up to 200 kVA, so which we call it as a MHP. So there our market shares are around 35, 37, we in between. And then we have HHP segment, so which is 200 kVA and above till whatever 2000 kVA, we call it as a HHP segment. So collectively we are at around 19 to 20% market share there.
90 to 20%.
Yeah.
Okay. And my last question is, what is the company's preparation on the complying with the emission norms? Maybe any capex or any other preparation?
No. So the capex is a routine. So for both BS4 and CPCB4, our capex are already almost BS4 100% capex is utilized, which was in the tune of 70 to 75 crores for BS4. And for CPCB4, the capex will be on similar lines, close to 100 crores. But out of that, 60-70 crores we have already utilized because we are very close to the final solutions. So we are prepared for that, and capex is already aligned for it.
Okay. Okay. That's all from our side. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ranjit Shivram from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Congrats on good set of numbers. Sir, when we look at your segmental breakup, the power gen, there has been a decline. So is it largely attributed to slowdown in railways, or is there some in that LHP and in that MHP, there is a kind of overall demand slowdown? Can you just
if you look at for Q3, we have grown in power gen for Q3 only for the quarter. If you look at the YTD numbers, then Q1 and Q2 was very, very slow. So that was the reason. And you are right that this railway business, not only for us, but overall industry, railways have curtailed their requirements, and their orders are curtailed right now. So when they will open up, that time we may get some orders from them. But that has not impacted much to us. And in Q4, we expect to grow on Q4 last year. So YTD level we are down, but quarter to quarter we are growing.
Yes, I mean, partially you are right. Power car quarter 3 last year was about 34 crore sale, and quarter 3 this year is insignificant, some 2 odd crore rupees. So about 32 crore impact is there on account of power car in quarter 3.
Okay, and has that segment started to recover, or is it still in challenging?
No, the government has not given any indication till date. So we expect another 1 quarter may go like that only, without any orders flowing from railways.
And how big is this Pune Metro order which you have indicated?
Not fair to talk on this call at this moment, but once we execute, we will talk to you.
Okay, and you told that around 50% of your power gen portfolio will be subjected to the CPCB norms. Is that right?
No, it will be more than that.
How much percentage?
More than that. See, the CPCB 4 only up to 19 kW is not coming under CPCB 4. Everything beyond that is part of CPCB 4.
So that will be almost more than 80% of your portfolio, right?
Yeah, almost 80%, 75 to 80%.
So we have already come out with our own test engines and those processes are done in that to be ready for.
We are in the process of finalizing the right recipe, right solutions for that. We have not yet built any prototypes for CPCB 4 because it will be too early. Because CPCB 4 we expect sharp price rise, or rather the sharp cost rise, and that's why there are multiple ways to achieve the same emission adherence. So different recipes are kept ready. As and when the gadget is out, we will be coming out with our prototypes and setting out. So we are pretty confident on sticking to the deadlines, whatever government wants us to stick.
Okay, because the aspect which we are trying.
Ranjit, we request you to come back in the queue, please.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
The next question is from the line of Rishikesh Oza from Robo Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Just one question from my side. Could you please comment around your NBFC business with regards to the cost of funds or the gross loan book, and also your outlook for 2022?
Okay, thanks Rishikesh. This is Pawan Agrawal. So our NBFC arm, Arka FinCap Limited, as we mentioned in the earlier calls also, it continues to do well. Q3 has been pretty strong for Arka, and for 9-month period also, the company has delivered decent performance year-on-year basis. We have delivered 5 crore of PAT in Q3 versus 2 crore of PAT in the previous year Q3. And on a 9-month basis, our PAT is about 12 crore rupees as opposed to roughly 3 crore rupees previous year. So line is growing, profitability is there. Now coming to the AUM, Arka has a total AUM of about 1160 odd crore rupees, with loan book of 962 crore rupees, roughly 200 crore is treasury book. It is primarily, the loan book is primarily towards corporate borrowers, roughly about 59-60%. Real estate is about 35-37% of the AUM. And we have just started MSME wing in Arka, so it has just started. So we expect this segment also to grow in a meaningful manner going forward. As far as the outlook is concerned, we remain cautiously optimistic on the performance of the company. And as we have indicated in the earlier calls also, we are looking at every quarter very, very minutely at the KOEL board level also. So as of now, we see buoyancy in the business, and next year outlook looks positive for Arka.
Okay, so what is the cost of funds?
I can give you spread. Average borrowing cost would be roughly about 9.5% in between. So that is our average borrowing cost in Arka.
Okay, and do you see that coming down in next year or remain flat?
It's difficult to comment at this stage on this area.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bhavin Vithlani from SBI Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity and congratulations on good set of numbers. My question is on the agri portfolio, and if you take agri as one in pump sets, pillars, and the engines which we're going for selling to the tractor. So on a 9-month basis, how large is this portfolio? And if you could give a 3 to 5 year perspective, what do you see this portfolio going ahead, and what are the initiatives that we are seeing to drive growth on each of these 3 verticals?
Sure. Thanks, Bhavin. Overall, in KOEL, agriculture consists of broadly 4 sub-businesses: agriculture crop irrigation, farm mechanization, tractor part oil, and agriculture export. So these are the 4 elements. Now, if I look at Q3 year-on-year, overall agriculture basket has grown by 44% year-on-year. Within that, the agriculture crop irrigation has grown by 27% year-on-year in Q3. Farm mechanization has grown by 172%, which is basically power tiller business and weeder business. Tractor part oil business has gone up by 26% in Q3 year-on-year, and exports within agriculture has gone up by 76% year-on-year basis. If I look at 9-month period, we have at an overall level, agriculture grew by 3% year-on-year basis. Within that, we saw a decline in agri CI.
Legit affiliation. I told you also to remember?
Hello?
Sorry for that, sir. I muted the line now.
Yeah. Within agriculture, agri CI for 9-month period, year-on-year basis, declined by 10%. Farm mechanization grew by 41%. Tractor part oil grew by 7% year-on-year. And exports grew by 44% year-on-year basis. That's the breakup of agriculture for a 9-month period.
And how do you see this business on a 3 to 5 year? And if you could just briefly elaborate on the strategies for growth, that will be very useful.
If you look at different segments into this agricultural composition, as I was talking about some time back, the crop irrigation, primarily the electric pumps and the engine related pumps. So engine-based pumps are declining, all of you are aware. But electric pumps are growing at a much faster pace and we are capturing market share there. So that story will be extremely positive. Power tillers and the weeder and that farm mechanization piece of that story, we were struggling for last 3-4 years to put it profitable business because we were growing. As we speak, we are already number 2 in the country as a small farm mechanization solution providing company. We are number 2. Now our focus is sharply on how do we make this business with a good profitability, and our efforts of VAVE and this is our line. In fact, government some decisions of stopping some imports in that space has also triggered positively for us, and as we are talking to you, lot of our engines we have indigenized and all our products we are giving with our own engines. We have already started that process. So that will bring in enormous impetus in terms of farm mechanization business growing in next 3 to 5 years horizon. That space. Crop irrigation will go. Even in the international market, we have seen a good traction this year for our agri engine, and we will be introducing coil electric pumps in international market in the next 2 years' time. So that means holistically the story of this entire agri piece will be on a positive side.
Sure. So could this become a 50 to 60% of the total business, outshadowing the PG because underlying growth on PG has been very slow?
See, eventually down the line 5 years, this may happen.
Understand. The second question is if you could highlight about the other initiatives on the diversification that you are focusing on, maybe some bit on the motors front and the compost front that we were targeting. Any update on that will be useful.
Yeah. If you look at motors, we have already specified in our board reports and we have got approval from the board for that. Motors is a natural extension for us because for the LGM side of the story, which is our subsidiary, and Coil Electric, we are already in the business of managing 600 or 600-700 crores of motor-linked business, which is the electric pumps. So getting into a standalone induction motor is a natural extension, and we are very close to finalizing our portfolios and right channel partners, but very shortly we may be introducing that to the market. And we are hopeful that we will be able to make a dent in that industry, and we will have advantage of common buying, common sourcing of a lot of components, lot of materials, and proven manufacturing processes with us. So that's the motor story. The organic waste composter, that is extension of our commitment to the environment as well as to the green products from the coil stable. So this particular product, in terms of its customer base, in terms of the manufacturing of this product, is coming very close to our genset business. And the channels also will be similar channels which will be taking this product to the end customer. And if we look at last 2-3 years of decisions of many central government, state government and the local bodies, specifically indicating that they may not be supporting to a lot of societies, the housing societies, for managing their wet waste. So this kind of a product comes very handy for that solution, and the buying happens at a level when the genset is getting bought. At the similar time, this product also goes into the society or the commercial complexes. So that is the synergy what we spotted. That product is also ready, and maybe down the line 1 quarter we will be introducing to the market.
Sure. Yeah, thank you so much for taking my questions. Best wishes from our side.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. The next question is from the line of Parikshit Kandpal from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Just on the data center opportunities, so our power gen segment, so what fuel are we using for the power gen for the data centers? So what kind of diesel we are using?
So data center is a good opportunity which is coming up in our country. We are observing one shift of trend in data centers. 2 years back or 3 years back, general major component of requirements on data centers used to be 750 to 1000 kVA, and 30-40% requirement used to be in 1250 to 2000 kVA domain. But if we look at last 12 months to 18 months trend, this requirement has shifted into the domain of 1250 to 3000 kVA. So there is a upward shift in data centers. Not only that, many things from global companies are being shifted to India as their data center hub or something like that. So we have a limitations of our product range in that segment at the moment, but we are working out on those product lines, and in few quarters down the line, we may have a solutions up to 2000 kVA. So that's point one. Coming to your question of diesel, right now in data centers also the normal diesel, what is being used for normal genset, the same diesel is used. But there are some things like some data centers may be preferring a product only with a CNG or a PNG based. There are some requests coming like that. Or futuristically, in international market, we are seeing some data centers using fuel cells. But that is too early for our country to come and go on that side, because the costs are very, very prohibitive at that level. So these are comments on data centers from my side.
But if we use a high-speed diesel, so most of the fuel which we're using, we have the technology for using high-speed diesel for our power gen products?
We do have. We do have. Depending upon customer, we have supplied some sets in the market with HSD, but it depends on customer to customers. But if you ask me what inquiries we are getting, not even 5-10% within that are there. But maybe on the lower side they may not be using, but in the higher side, I have no idea.
Okay. The second question was on the organic waste, which was discussed by Bhavin earlier. So as a society, I do understand that in Maharashtra, this is a thing which has come in, the circular has come, even into my society it has come. So is it this organic waste is more like a limited opportunity to Maharashtra, or do you think other states also come up with circulars? And if you can also quantify how big this market size be?
Yeah. See, commenting on the market size of this is too early, because right now this is a very concept selling kind of a thing, very innovative solutions, new solutions to the market, not a very established players or the industry. So it will keep on evolving and growing the more and more we promote the solutions, because many places people may not be even knowing that this kind of a solution does exist. Now, coming to our venture into this business is not related to the government. In fact, the government circulars will be incidental support to us, because primarily our solution is giving relief to the society irrespective of government what they want to do. Because if you look at it in a holistic purpose, the cost of operating this machine will be as low as 1 rupee per flat per month. So that's as low as that. So if collectively also society takes a call of buying it irrespective of government insistence, it will be helping them, and the compost can go back to their own gardens.
What about the odor and the smell which will be coming out because of the emissions on burning or incinerating this?
No. This is almost odorless.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There will be microorganisms inside this machine which will be making the compost.
Oh, so no burning, no incineration, nothing. So it's more like natural.
There is a element of heat being absorbed in that. Heat is taken off from the bio-waste, and then the microorganisms comes into picture. But no burning. There is nothing called burning in this.
Just on the last thing on the motor side, so how much capex do you envisage in setting up this motor facility?
We do have our existing facilities right now, and the initial entry in this will be using the capacities available in the industry. So we may not set up our own investment to start with, but as the business grows, we are open to have an investment even in that space.
It will be more like a trading margin. So you'll be basically outsourcing this and then selling.
Controlling our design and quality, and it will be a combination of both. Because we do have our capacities in our the subsidiary factories.
Okay. Thank you. That's all from us, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ashwini Sharma from Anand Rathi. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Congrats for a good set of numbers. Sir, can you help me with the 9-month numbers for large gauge machines?
Yeah. We did 9 months revenue was more or less flattish in LGM for a 9-month period, which was about 364 crore rupees. But for quarter 3, we saw a growth of 25% year-on-year basis.
So what was the number, absolute number, if you can just give me?
129 crore in quarter 3.
Okay. And how about Coel America?
Coel America is, just a moment. Coel America quarter 3 was close to 9.5 crore this year, versus 5.5 crore last year, same period. And 9 months period, Coel America was 20 crore, a little over 20 crore. Comparable number for last year was about 14.5 crore.
Okay. Sir, my second question is on your large engine business. So in the beginning of the year, you had actually guided for a very strong growth for the large engine business for the full year basis. But now if you look at last 2 quarters, I think the revenue has been, the performance has been very flat. So what is the outlook going forward, sir?
I think you are absolutely right, and I'm happy to hear your comment, and it gives us this thinking how carefully you are listening. You are absolutely right. In the end of first quarter, I indeed said that our outlook is very strong on this business because we had a good opening order board, and we were anticipating some good closures of the order board, which we had already bid in. So incidentally, those closures which we were expecting to happen in first quarter end or second quarter early, which has happened at the end of third quarter. And we indeed have received one big order in that space, but unfortunately the execution will move to the next year. As we speak, we have 120 crore plus kind of order board in this business. But this year, overall execution and the decision making in government has been extremely slow. But they were in an absolutely slowdown mode in terms of any buying. Government has taken very positive decisions in the infrastructure spend and all those things, but their own buying in defense and marine and all those segments, so that has been slowed down. So it has really impacted to this business. So order board, as we said, it is 120, but could have been much better, and execution is also relatively slowed down. But if we look at next year, we may see a much better business for this thing, maybe upwards of 25-30% growth on this business.
Okay. And so lastly, on the export side, so if we look at the 9-month number, I think we have already reached the last year's 9-month level.
Yeah.
So what is the outlook from here on, sir? You did allude to the fact that, the traveling restrictions and all, but what's the outlook going ahead, sir?
We may end up the year on a similar line, whatever, like we will be as same as last year or slightly better than last year. What is happening in the international market, or some of the strategies, as I said earlier also, have turned out very good for us, especially our entry into the firefighting segments, which are the FMUL approved kind of segment. Our products are consistently getting acceptance worldwide, and we are gaining share, so that's a very positive story. We have given some latest electronic solutions for some mining segments in South Africa, and that business is doing well. Unfortunately, the power generation story overall in many markets internationally has not come back to even last year's figure. So the decline there is almost 30-40%. So that is where the whole story went on a little on a slowdown track. And we expect going forward next year power generation to come back, and our two stories of the industrial engines and the firefighting to continue. Good surprise element for us this year was the agri growth. Because agri markets, we have seen many governments when the economies were slowed down, many markets in Latin America and Africa, we have seen that governments spend on agri side has increased, and this has resulted into a good demand on our agri engine products. And we expect next year that may sustain.
So just to support the statements that Sanjeev made, in the export, if I have to give you segment, agri segment has grown by 76% in quarter 3 year-on-year basis, and for a 9-month period the growth has been 44% year-on-year. Industrial 14% and 22% respectively. And PG, as Sanjeev indicated, quarter 3 there was a decline of 32%, and on 9-month period a decline of 29%.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Goyal from Anam Holdings. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the opportunity, sir. I have few questions. Sir, on the margin front, just want to clarify, you mentioned that in Q4 we may see impact of about 1% on EBITDA margin?
Yeah.
Okay. And going forward on other expenses which we alluded over 3 categories, so basically on the base of FY21, we will see these numbers increasing in FY22, right, sir?
Yeah, I mean it will be back to pre-COVID level, which is FY20 level is what I indicated.
Okay, thanks a lot. And in industrial engines, you mentioned that 35% of the portfolio will be impacted by BS4. So ideally, what is the norm? Which engines is it off-highway or which category will get impacted?
These are primarily off-highway. The categories which are covered here are the excavators and the backhoe machines. And excavators also not the wheeled one. Only the tracked one are, ulta. The wheeled one are covered and tracked one are not covered in this. And then your compactor machines are also covered under this. And some machines on the construction equipment like self-loading transit mixers, those are covered under this.
Okay. And sir, on the agri side, just want to clarify, one of the segments out of 4 you mentioned was farm tractor oil, right?
Yeah, tractor parts and oil.
Tractor parts and oil. So we sell spare parts of tractor engines, and we also sell consumables in that sector.
So, but still when you mention agri-related revenues, you didn't include tractor engines in that, right?
No, tractor engines we don't include. We include tractor engines into the industrial engines part.
But sir, apart from farm tractor parts and oil, you must be selling other aftermarket also in agri, and which may be getting clubbed into the customer support category.
No. Whatever goes into agri space gets covered into agri. The tractor parts and other oil and consumables comes under this thing only. No, PPO is covered up there. Is added here?
Yeah.
Okay. So sir, excluding tractor engines, agri-related revenues would be how much of the total revenue? Because we did say that in 5 years it can be 40-50%, but what is the current number we should look at it?
So, this is Pawan here. So, for 9-month period, agri as a basket, I said we have done about 390 odd crore rupees, within which tractor parts and oil is 45 crore rupees. So, if you want to look at the number differently, then you can exclude 391 minus 45, that's pure agri. And if you want to club tractor parts oil 45 crore with tractor, so our tractor for 9 months was 124 crore rupees. So, that's the math.
No, one more clarity, Manish. on that. When I said 40-50% go this side, I'm also keeping in mind the LGM side of the story. So that entire portfolio I'm considering as a part of this.
No, fair point. So just to clarify, tractor engines was 124 crores in 9 months.
That's correct.
Okay, and I have one more question on the electric pump side, that in Q3 we had a very strong revenue growth, but the segment table shows that the profits have been flattish. We had 40% revenue growth in electric pumps, but segment PBIT was up only 6%. So was it any particular reason why margins were impacted in the quarter?
Yeah, I mean, LGM side, there was pressure on profitability. So that has kind of put pressure on the profitability of electric pump on an overall basis.
Okay.
Now we have taken price rise in LGM.
Okay. And sir, are we facing any, or did we face any challenges in terms of shortage of components? Like we heard that fuel injections were a challenge in terms of availability due to shortage of chips and stuff like that. Did you face any challenge in Q3, or are we facing any challenge on that?
No, the entire Q3, you are absolutely right. Fuel injection pump was deciding the sale of the market, because that was a big challenge which this particular supplier, which is unfortunately unique to many competitors and many industries. And this entire quarter, right from October to December end, we were going through the difficult challenges on that front.
So this would be largely across portfolio or only for the power gen?
No, across. It affected tractors, it affected industrial engines, and it affected power gens to some extent.
But had situation improved
it kept on improving continuously, because we were monitoring with those particular suppliers almost on a weekly basis, even at highest level. So the situation kept on improving, but the demand was surpassing the supplies. That was the situation.
So ideally in Q3 you could have done better if this problem would not have happened.
Maybe 8-10% better in those segments.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for all that.
Vaibhav?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so we have another meeting at 6 o'clock.
Sure. Participants, due to time constraint, will close this call. I now hand the conference over to management for closing comments.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the third quarter earnings conference call of Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited and participating in the call. We have tried our best to answer all your questions. For any further question, you can connect to us or can look at our website for further details. We wish everyone a happy new year once again. Stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On behalf of Axis Capital, we conclude this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.